Welcome back to AIM Agenda. In the last half an hour, Donald Trump has claimed that the White House, the FBI, has in fact raided his house in Mar-a-Lago. Let's bring in his former Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, now live from the US. We're just getting this news to hand, repeating the FBI has apparently raided Donald Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago. What does all this mean? What is it related to, do we suspect?
Laura, yeah, it's amazing. I'm watching in real time here as well. Of course, I don't think it's been visually confirmed yet, but the New York Times is reporting that it's happening. So let's assume, for sake of discussion, the president's tweet about the raid is accurate. My guess is, and it's an educated guess, that this is tied to the ongoing Department of Justice investigation that we learned a little bit about in the last couple of weeks. Several weeks ago, Mark Short, the chief of staff to the vice president and the vice president's chief lawyer, testified under subpoena to a criminal grand jury in Washington, D.C. Late last week, the chief White House lawyer, Pat Cipollone, also testified. My guess is that the Department of Justice saw or heard or found something in those investigations that gave rise to this raid today. Keep in mind, in order for the FBI under our system to do what they're doing, if they're doing it, they have to go to a judge and show probable cause that there's evidence of a crime there at Mar-a-Lago, and they cannot get it in any other reasonable way. So this is a very high standard. It's a very big deal and obviously a very fluid situation.
Yeah, this is a really big deal indeed. And as you say, there's been a bit of a flurry of movement this week in terms of those subpoenas that you point out. Now, we have seen the long-running investigation, which is not, entirely, bipartisan, but we did, kind of through that evidence get close to seeing where there was that level of criminality from the former president in his reaction to, or that day on January 6th. So is this an indication, just repeating and saying that we don't know for sure yet, that threshold may have been met enough for the FBI to go in and seek more evidence?
Right. Keep in mind, and this is important, two different investigations, two entirely different processes by two entirely different groups. The January 6th committee that you and I have talked about, that I testified since you and I have talked last time, that is a political process done by members of Congress in the Capitol on Capitol Hill. The biggest penalty they could probably do is punish you politically. There's no real teeth to it. What you're seeing tonight, if it's accurate again, is the Department of Justice, the United States law enforcement agency, sending the Federal Bureau of Investigations in to collect evidence regarding supposed criminal activity. And again, they're doing that with a warrant in hand. You can't just walk into somebody's house in our country and start looking for stuff. You have to go to a judge and get permission to do it. And the warrants would be very specifically laid out. And to get a warrant against the former president of the United States, it has to be, Laura, that the Department of Justice thinks they have absolutely rock-solid evidence of some type of criminal behavior. This is a very, very serious matter. This is not the type of thing that would be approved by a lower-level functionary at the FBI or the DOJ. This would probably be approved by Merrick Garland at the very least. So this is, again, a very serious matter that tells me that the Department of Justice investigation has taken things to a different level.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right to emphasise and point out that this is very different to that political committee that has hauled some of his former confidants before to give evidence publicly in prime time. This would have to be pretty unprecedented for a former president, the FBI, acting in this way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think I've got this right. We've never charged a former president with a crime. There was some discussion about doing that to President Nixon back in the 1970s. But before the Department of Justice could get that far, President Ford pardoned President Nixon. So there was never any criminal activity after that pardon was issued, criminal investigation, and certainly no charges brought against President Nixon. Certainly a criminal warrant has never been executed against a former president. So, yeah, this is unprecedented at very many levels, which, again, just reaffirms, in my mind at least, knowing a little bit about how the Department of Justice works, knowing a little bit about Merrick Garland, this is not the type of thing that would have undertaken lightly. They know the political pressure they're going to come under because of this. They know the scrutiny they're going to come under because of this. If they didn't think they had it 100% rock solid, I don't think they'd be doing this.
And you knowing Donald Trump like you do, his statement is pretty vintage Trump as well, already casting the light on where you just said it would be, those doubts that this is a corrupt process and it's all about trying to stop him to become president again. His followers will love that.
Oh, it is. President Trump would play to the political divisiveness, and certainly there are allegations now in our country that the Department of Justice is politicized, that it doesn't enforce the law equally against both parties, that they're going harder against Donald Trump than they are against Hunter Biden. Those are real allegations that will probably be investigated as we go into the next Congress. So certainly the president's argument tonight in his comments about being raided are going to fall on fertile soil with some people. There's no question about it. I'm probably a little skeptical about what the Department of Justice would do. But again, I come back to the basic premise that this is such a big deal. I'd be stunned. This is the type of thing that if Merrick Garland did this and didn't have something absolutely dead to rights, 100% watertight, he probably and rightly would be fired by President Biden.
Well said. Mick Mulvaney, as always, great to get your insights this morning.
Thank you.